Hey, what's up guys, Nate here, welcome back to the channel. Of course, everybody's talking about Serum 2, it's been released. I've actually had some time to play around with this as part of the beta team, but I'm not going to do an overview video. I think everybody's kind of doing the same thing. I want to jump straight into some informational stuff on how to use this, some of the new stuff involved in it. So the first thing we're going to look at today is just how to work with multi-samples. So Serum's always had a pretty good wavetable editor, but when it comes to the multi-sample side of things, it doesn't really do much in the way of helping you set up and lay out samples. You've got to actually use SFZ format for that. But let's dive in. I want to show you how you can actually get multi-samples into Serum, and we'll maybe take a look at some of the other usage cases that you can use samples for inside of the new oscillators with Serum 2. Let's dive in and check this out. Right, so here we go. Serum 2. And I've got to say, I'd kind of fallen out of love with Serum recently. I haven't been using it as much as I used to. It always kind of felt a little bit digital for me, the old one, but this really kind of opened up a few new possibilities, particularly with the addition of the sample oscillators and stuff for me. And I'm kind of really enjoying working with this again. There's some other stuff which we'll cover at another time, which helps things make this feel a little bit more live, kind of like what you have with the Evo, where you can detune oscillators per voice and so on. So there's some interesting stuff going on here, but let's stick with this default patch that we have here. Now what I want to do is I want to use a multi-sampled instrument in this case, because this allows you to kind of start bringing in more organic elements into your sound design. So we can come up here and change this to multi-sample. Now there's no real way to bring anything in here besides clicking on this, and you can load up the factory ones. They have some good stuff in here that you can use. But what do we do if we want to sample this or sample a multi-sampled instrument ourselves? You can only load SFZ. So I'm going to show you how to do this, particularly inside of Bitwig, because this is Bitwig's got a really great sample editor for this kind of thing. I'll show you a little way. I'll show you the process of how you can do that from Bitwig into Serum 2. You're going to need to download one piece of software, which I'll get to in a sec, called Convert with Moss. If you've followed the channel before, you've probably seen me talk about Driven by Moss, which is the custom scripts that I use for this guy as well. My Innovation Launchpad is controlling Bitwig with a custom script that he's done. But he has this little app called Convert with Moss, which will allow you to actually take Bitwig files and move them into SFZ or any number of different formats as well. So let's check this out. I'm actually just gonna Right, so let's check this out. I'm gonna just try and find. I don't have anything set up here at the moment. We'll just use these. I think these are actually from a Native Instruments library. So we've got some strings here. Okay, so let's take this. I believe. Right, there we go. So I've got those samples selected now. We can just go and bring in a sampler now. Because Bitwig is pretty good with reading up the naming structure for samples like this, if you've done your homework and when you actually recorded the sample, you named them with the actual key name in there, Bitwig will pick that up automatically and assign them to the keys. So I'm just going to drag them all in, and it'll know automatically that we want to make a multi-sampled instrument. You can see it's mapped everything there automatically in one go. Now, normally, if you're going to do this commercially for like an instrument, you'd probably want to go and do the looping for these individually. But these are all pretty long samples, so we should be able to get away with just kind of doing very rough loop on these as well. Let's just open that up so we can get our multi-sample editor in here. Everything's mapped correctly. So what we're going to do is just make sure that we have selected all of these, because I want to just do the looping here. We can't do it once we're inside of Serum, unless you're working with the single wave oscillator. Okay, once you've got all these all selected, we're just going to turn on the looping for all of the samples, making sure that they're all selected here. We'll back off this loop end a little bit. We'll probably come down to like 10 seconds, and we'll probably start the loop at around just about 1 second or something like that, and turn the crossfading up. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty flawless. The strings already fluctuate a little bit, so if there's a little bit of a crossfade between the two with a volume dip, you're not going to notice it. It just kind of sounds natural anyways. So I'm pretty happy with how that's looped now. This is pretty much done. Now, the important thing here is to not save this as a preset. We need to save this as a multi-sample file. So don't save it on the sampler here. That's not going to work. You want to come up to the top here inside of the multi-sample editor and click Save. And that is going to let you save this as a multi-sampled, a multi-sample. It kind of bundles them all together. The presets can use one or reference one multi-sample for various different presets inside of the sample itself. We just come here and set this up. We're going to save that. I think I actually have one like this saved already. Yes, that's fine. We'll just save that again. So now inside of my multi-samples folder, you want to come and show all sources here first. Go look at everything, and we can just search string, and we want to look for the file kind, and we want multi-samples. There's the one that we made, and what you can do now is you can just show an Explorer. It'll open this up. Make a note of the directory that it's in, so you can just, if you're in Windows, you can click at the top here and just copy that directory. Right, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to open up Convert with Moss. What you want to do here is paste in the directory that you copied. I've already got that in here, but you can see if you come over to this, you can paste that in. Select folder. That's where it's going to grab your multi-samples from. It's going to grab everything that's in there in one go, and it'll just batch process everything multi-sample that you've saved in that directory. So what we're going to do here now is we're going to select Bitwig multi-sample from here. Obviously that's going to be the source that we're using for this. And we're going to convert that to an SFZ file. Now you can tick some of these on if you want. I would convert these to FLAC. These ones you don't have to do broadcast audio metadata. That kind of, it's not all that important. It's not really for what we're doing now. It's not going to make a difference. Once you've selected that, just hit convert. It'll run a script. And there you go. So it's created some SFZ files for us from the Bitwig multi-samples that we had in our directory there. We can close this down now. We don't need this again. Let's head back to Serum now. And we can open up Serum. And let's just come to the multi-sample section here, load SFZ. And I'm going to come here to my multi-samples, import the cello SFZ. There we go. So now we've got that loaded into Serum, so we can start creating with this. You also have the option when you save here as well to actually bundle the files inside of the preset. So if you're going to redistribute these or pass these on to friends, you probably want to do that so it'll actually contain it. Now I'm not going to save these with this for the Patreon pages because these are not my samples, but I will have some stuff up there soon for you guys to go and grab. I'm currently working on a bunch of presets. It's actually a commission that I'm working on, but some of those will be uploaded on the Patreon soon as well. Right, so let's play around with this. Let's create a sound with this now. We've got this in here. So it's quite nice for creating sort of hybrid sounds. Now we've got this organic section here, and we can play around with this, bringing a saw, for example. Let's change this up to one of the new Serum waves. Let's go to the analog ones. There's actually quite a nice selection of waveforms in here. Let's go with the Jupiter 8 with the saw drift. Okay, so we can, these drift ones are actually quite cool because they're just sampling, basically it's a wavetable that sort of emulates the drift of the waveform on an analog synth. We could play around with the drift like that. It's going to be pretty subtle what it's doing there. We could also add a little bit of fine pitch. And I think let's just add in a unison on this. We'll just go with 2. So another really handy thing here is obviously you've got 2 filters now, so there's a lot more flexibility there. So you can actually have 2 filters per voice, route that into a 3rd filter within the effects section as well. But you've also got the warp algorithms that you can load on here, and one of them is actually a spectral filter that you can use here as well. So you can actually just filter the saw wave itself at the oscillator level already. I just want that. Let's also add in a low pass as well. We'll have the low pass. And Shift Alt there to set that to unipolar. Okay, we're just filtering the strings there right now. Let's filter the whole thing. Okay, I quite like that swell that we're getting there now. Let's also just adjust the attack for this, the release as well. Right, there we go. And so that combination of the strings now. That's really nice. Okay, so we'll do a little bit more in the effects section here. Let's just add an EQ just to kind of push out some of that really high stuff on the strings, just at the peak of that swell. And just to give this sort of like a nice oceanic feel to it, I guess. Let's maybe just bring in some white noise as well. And we'll make sure that this is running through the filter too. And rather go for one of the analog ones. Go with the bright white, I think. And let's go and add in some reverb. Now, one of the new reverbs that I really like here that's been added in Serum 2 is this algorithm, the nitrous one, which is really lush, quite a long reverb. We'll add a little bit of modulation. Let's go with space. You can take a listen to this. Sounds like it full. And that should do. We'll just adjust the volume here. Maybe we'll have the swells last a little bit longer, higher up the key register. So let's do that rather. So there's a couple of other things that you can do with this now too. Let's actually copy this multi-sample one. We'll just right click on the oscillator here, say copy, and we'll paste that into this oscillator C. And the cool thing with this, you can actually go from sounds that you've done. If you put in the time, you can actually use them in different ways. So we've got our multi-sample oscillator. Let's actually just turn these two off that we can see here. We can right click here and just convert them to a single sample mode. And once you're in single sample mode like this as well, we could go to, let's go with granular for example, yeah. Just get some random vibes going on with these. Push these up just a little bit. And we can create a different sort of texture that will go up an octave as well. Random spawn pattern. We could also dive into the warps for these as well. High pass that maybe. This is more like a top layer now that we can put over everything else. And let's stick that all through the same filter now again. So we've got everything running through filter 1. Let's bring back our main strings and our saw wave that we have and listen to the result of all of these samples and oscillators playing together. Maybe I'll just bring down the volume on this one again. Last thing, just to finish this off, I'm going to add in some delay just to kind of capture some of those little grains that we have. We'll go ping pong, if we back up a little bit. Yeah, there you go. Pretty cool. If you like this kind of thing, hit me up in the comments below. Tell me what you want to see in terms of sound design stuff. I am working on some more aggressive sounds for a sample or a pack that I'm working on. There's a bunch of sounds that I'm currently busy with, and they're more kind of like sort of slightly psytrance-y kind of stuff. Yeah, bunch of really cool sort of like, I love these kind of slightly random art patches. Yeah, there you go. Cool, so stay tuned. You guys can go check out the Patreon page. You can sign up there and you'll get notifications for all the videos that come out. If you want some of the patches that are available, you can sign up as a paid Patreon. Otherwise, hit that subscribe button. That really helps us out. Otherwise, I'll catch you soon right here. Till then, take care. Cheers.